Hi, this is President Tiff Shuttlesworth coming to you on behalf of Northpoint Bible College and Seminary, and this is one of the most important vision videos that I've made. Number one, we have just passed our first year anniversary of serving this holy and sacred institution. Some of you remember it by the name of Zion Bible Institute, currently Northpoint Bible College and Seminary. The school has actually transitioned through 5 name changes through the years, but the original vision of our founder, Christine Gibson, lives on. And I want you to know that I am fully committed to that original vision. We have almost 100 years of powerful history of the faithfulness of God. Many of you know from our past communications that post-COVID, many colleges and universities, both secular and sacred, were closed because of the extreme mandates that were placed upon them. In higher education, it is actually called the higher education apocalypse. Northpoint came under the weight of that attack, just like schools around our nation and around the world. But in this past year, and I want to be very careful to humble my heart and to give God alone the praise and the honor and the glory for the progress that has been made. But I am fully confident after 1 year to tell you that Northpoint is on a provable path to recovery. I wrote down some significant answers to prayer and miracles that God has given us in this first year, and I'd like to share them with you. Number one, God has given us, through a gracious interest-free loan from one of our graduates, one of our Zion graduates, a $2 million interest-free loan. That, my friend, has helped us to take the pressing weight of our debt and to begin to eliminate it. And we are on a path to recovery. Not only does that $2 million interest-free loan, whose payments don't even begin until November of 2024, allowing the school through summer and the upstart of our upcoming fall semester to gain traction. It eliminates penalties and interest and is an incredible miracle for our school. Number two, we have taken a budget that I began with at about $5.4 million, and we have made difficult choices, but with God's help, we have reduced the annual budget of the college from $5.4 million to about $4.4 million. That represents a lot of hard work, a lot of analysis, a lot of data crunching, and a lot of decisions. But the school's operational budget is $1 million less with rising costs than it was a year ago. Number three, we have just signed a lease with Bradford Christian Academy. If you're not familiar with Bradford Christian Academy, they were actually founded on our current campus over 22 years ago, before we were ever at that campus. Bradford Christian Academy is one of the leading Christian private schools in all of New England, and they will be joining us on our campus. We have about $20 million of buildings there, and until we fill them, we must steward them. And so we have worked with them and given them our Hazeltine building that they will be occupying this fall. That lease will bring in $1.5 million over the course of 5 years, and they have asked for a 25-year lease, but it will be reviewed and possibly revised every 5 years as is necessary. Not only will that bring about an incredibly healthy collaboration between Northpoint and Bradford Christian Academy, it'll put about 150 new students with all of their joy and excitement and exuberance on our campus, which will make a clear statement to our neighborhood and to our city that Northpoint is alive and well. Not only that, as a Christian school, their juniors and seniors perhaps will begin to prepare a path to walk across a bridge from Bradford Christian Academy to new students of Northpoint Bible College. We're excited to have them on our campus in the days ahead. Number 4, in this year, we have a record number of new donors. In our very first year, we have over 309 to be specific, as of my last meeting, new donors. 309, hear me, new donors. This represents people who have never given to Northpoint or Zion in any history or record that we have available to us. That in and of itself is a significant step forward. If, as God tarries, we are able to replicate that number in years ahead of us, that will make a major change in the fiscal health of our school. Many of them have given generously, and many of them have become repeat donors. Many of you that are listening are included in that number, and I cannot tell you how grateful I am. Number 5, in the winter, we dealt with some unexpected emergencies that had high price tags. Our major boiler in Academy Hall ruptured at the end of February. Talk about inconvenient timing. In our coldest winter month, our main boiler in our main building ruptured. On the heels of that, days later, we had another boiler that died in what is called the greenhouse, which is our student fellowship hall, where our students study and fellowship and have food and fun, and it's probably the beehive of our school. The boiler there also died. To repair these two boilers, Academy Hall was about $125,000. The boiler in the smaller building in the greenhouse was about $25,000. But we had a $150,000 obligation. And the company that repaired said, we'll do it, but we want half of the money before we start and half of the money upon completion, which was just over over maybe 7 days or so. But you responded, and God miraculously, through these videos, I made video appeals and gave you video updates, and you, through your generosity and through your prayers and through your sacrifice, helped us through $150,000 of unplanned emergency maintenance in our winter season. Number 6, we have growing enrollment, and this is what is most exciting to me. In my first fall, we had an increase, which allowed us to be able to say, after 8 years of declining enrollment, we now have put an end to that declining enrollment. And though it's not the numbers that I'm hoping for yet, it does represent an end of declining enrollment and our first step towards growth. That was followed in spring by one of our largest spring enrollments in recent history. As of today, we have 5 times more students enrolled for this coming fall than we did a year ago at this time. And so we are giving praise to God, and we're working very hard at getting the good news of what God is doing at Northpoint out there. We must, listen, job number 1, we must fill our classrooms. Job number 1 is to raise up a holy army of Pentecostal ministers with biblical excellence to be sent to the 4 corners of the globe to satisfy the Great Commission. That was the original vision of Christine Gibson. It remains today as the original vision, still sustained by God. Number 7, some of you may not be aware of this, but God had laid upon my heart in a time of fasting to start a sister college identical to Northpoint, built upon the same core values, but dedicated 100% to Hispanic students, Hispanic leadership, Hispanic location, Hispanic curriculum, and Hispanic students. That was opened this past fall in Laredo, Texas, under the auspices of ICM and Dr. Gilberto Velez. And so we now have a sister Northpoint Bible College on the border of Texas, where ministry and missions is so desperately needed, operational as I speak, and though a baby in infancy, God, I believe, is going to put wind in the sails of that sister institution. I just had an individual from Texas who gave a $100,000 scholarship to help those Hispanic students. And I'll not take the time to go over all of the answers to prayer, but I am here to tell you, as we approach the end of our fiscal year and the end of our semester, as a matter of fact, as I'm making this video, I'm leaving for Northpoint in a few hours. Tomorrow morning is our baccalaureate, and then Saturday is our commencement and graduation. As we approach the end of this first year in serving this precious institution, I raise my hands to God and give Him praise and honor and glory. The future of Northpoint is growing stronger, and I believe our best days are not behind us. I believe they are ahead of us. I close with one significant prayer request. As we go into the summer months, May, June, July, and August, we are facing, because of the break from one semester, the new semester starting in the fall. Historically, this is common with all institutions. We need a miracle margin to help us from now until late August and early September. That new budget is a little under $400,000 a month. May, June, July, and August, 4 months. We must believe God for a miracle margin of $1.6 million to keep the ground that we have fought for and not lose an inch. I am pleading with you, number one, to pray. I want you to pray and to fast with me, that as we walk through these 4 months by faith, totally dependent upon God, dependent upon those of you that are listening and helping us get the word out. We must believe God for a $1.6 million miracle margin so that we don't lose any ground that we have fought so hard to reclaim. Will you pray about being a part? Number one, you can be a monthly partner. If you're not already partnered with Northpoint Bible College and Seminary, there's information at the end of this video. Will you please pray about making a monthly commitment in the days ahead? Number two, I need some of you in these next 4 months to pray about a significant gift. God has blessed some of you that are listening in a significant way. And this is soil that is holy to God. It is soil that is raising up holy men and women to preach the gospel to the unreached around the world. And I'm praying God will speak to some of you, businessmen, businesswomen. If God has blessed you in a significant way, will you be a part of our summer miracle margin? $1.6 million. Too big for me, but not too big for God. And the seed that leaves your hand today becomes the harvest of your tomorrow. We still believe, as they taught us years ago at Zion in Luke chapter 6, give and it shall be given unto you. That's not the motive for giving, but it's Bible. God said, and we dare not redact it, give and it shall be given unto you. If you release a significant gift, the Bible said, he who sows generously shall reap generously. He who sows sparingly shall reap sparingly. And so I come to you today in this vision video that gives you a brief summation of our first year. God has done miracle after miracle. Our path is moving forward and upward, but we need your help this summer. I'm asking you to pray. I'm asking you to fast. I'm asking you to give straight out of Matthew chapter 6 to see this vision gain strength and gain ground and fulfill its original commission by God to go into all the world and preach the gospel. Thank you for listening, and thank you for your prayers, and thank you for your sacrifice in the days ahead. God bless you until next week.